Yo, what's up YouTube? A couple things before we start on this video. I do want to let you know that this is actually going to be a giveaway. Blizzard has been really super kind and offered a bunch of different bundles for me to give out to my audience of the new Luminous Star Seeker mount and also the Twilight Pet. Both of these are included in these giveaway, and I'm also doing one on YouTube, I'm doing one on Twitter, and I'm doing one on Instagram, all simultaneously for the next 24 hours. So for specifically, if you want to enter the YouTube one for the next 24 hours on this video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel on this video, and then you'll be entered to get to the giveaway, and also pay attention tomorrow in case you did happen to win the giveaway. I will announce it in tomorrow's video. And you can also go to Twitter and Instagram. And secondly, before we get into this video, I do want to let you know that I have released my full 725 Arcane Mage PvP guide. I wrote this whole thing, I put a ton of work into it. It covers pretty much everything you need to know for PvP and for getting into Arcane Mage. If you're looking to pick up the class, if you're looking to get into it, or if you've always wanted to play Arcane Mage, now you can learn it very quickly. And it's available over at www.cartoons.tv. It's the first link in the description, so be sure to go check out that guide if you are interested in the very full Arcane Mage guide. But we're going to jump into the actual first part of this video, which is going to be looking into a game that is going to be against Warrior, a Holy Paladin, and also Fire Mage Hansel, which is one of my friends. This is a really cool opportunity to explain positioning, because not only is positioning a really hard concept to explain since it's so situational and whatnot, I feel like positioning on Blade's Edge Arena, for example, against this comp, like this is probably the most perfect scenario game for me explaining how positioning works. Because honestly, like this team counters us. This video or this specific match was recorded whenever Resto Druids were really weak, so healing is going to be a lot less available to me. And if I position well, we win. If I position poorly, they kill us. That's just how it is. They kill me in a Stormbolt with their instant cast damage, and then they just destroy us. So as you can see, we get a full clone, and then we get a Fist of Fury off. Seth Curry makes that awesome play, and then I go with an Arcane Orb into Arcane Power, Presence of Mind, and we go really hard on this mage. He ends up trinketing and then also using Temporal Shield. I recognize that he has Temporal Shield, which is really important because he doesn't have Kleptomania, and right now I am positioned offensively, right? So this means that I'm going to be blinking in, I'm going to have my displacement available in case I want to get out, right, which I do right there, because I don't want the warrior to actually screw me up, and I want him to do a huge amount of damage to me right there, so I'm blinking around trying to kite him around, right? And this is what it looks like to be offensive, right? You're focusing on landing your interrupts when you need to. You're in line of sight of the target your team is trying to kill, which in this case was the Holy Paladin, because Hansel had a Blessing of Sacrifice, so we swapped that damage over to the Holy Paladin. We got him in an interrupt right here, as you can see, with the Spear Hand Strike from Seth Curry. And then I'm trying to put out as much pressure as I can. I'm doing 416k DPS, which is a ton, and we're just trying to get as many cooldowns as we can. We actually force out the bubble just because of how offensively positioned we are and how aggressive we are with our cooldowns and our CC. We got both trinkets, and we got bubble, we got sacrifice. We're ready to go here, right? So now this is the point in the game where I actually am going to be playing super defensive. I'm going to be trying to look to kite away. I'm trying to blink or displace whenever the Stormbolt is in midair, and that's going to allow me to disrupt the enemy damage, right? So you can see the fear goes out on May. This is definitely when they're going to be going. They have combustion rolling already, and then the warrior is going to charge to me, or just like walk up to me in general, and I'm going to go ahead and try to pre-temp shield because I'm not sure if I'm going to get stunned here, but we actually are getting offensive pressure out anyways because their go is a little bit weak. This warrior is just doing a little bit of a weak start to his damage, and we get a full clone onto him, and he actually is he trinkets, right? So we were able to turn that around. My good positioning and me not having to use my defensives and me using Temporal Shields proactively, it's kind of like a huge combination of things, right? So like Seth in turn can be very offensive because he's not being targeted. I have to kind of watch where I stand. I can't be right on the Holy Paladin like I was earlier because I need to be focused on trying to live. I need to watch what the warrior's doing. I need to see if the mage is going to be casting Polymorph onto Maylol so that I can interrupt it with my counterspell. I need to be spell stealing important bops if I can, and also keeping a very noticeable difference, which is really important for like casters in general, not just mages. is that you have to keep your distance. You can't just be melee range all the time versus melee, or else they'll kill you. So as you can see, I'm continuing my blinks, I'm continuing my displacements, and I'm novaing the warrior. I'm disrupting him as I can, and also just doing what I can to stop him. I get a full polymorph on there, which was really helpful because the Holy Paladin was actually in clone. So while he was cycloned, he couldn't dispel the warrior, which was sheeped. And as you can see, I'm tracking his spell reflection, so I know I was going to get that polymorph. I wasn't going to get it reflected. I'm tracking it with my Omnibar, which is really, really good. Okay, so all of these little things that you notice, like this influences how I'm going to be standing and where I'm going to be positioning in the game. Now that they all don't have trinkets, that means next time Seth uses a stun, which is right now, he used Fist of Fury right now into the Holy Paladin. We actually go for some damage onto Hansel, and what we're trying to do is actually get a clone onto the Holy Paladin. It's only half, but we are able to get clone and sacrifice, and this is actually a point where we are both going offensive at the same time. Both teams are, right? So as you can see, my health goes really low, and I actually forced to Ice Block and we Iron Block at the same time. This is a miscommunication, so we use 2 defensive cooldowns at the same time. If I was better positioned in the first place, instead of being offensively positioned, so maybe being standing up onto the bridge here, instead of being standing down here, having the ability to blink out and kind of let Seth solo for a little bit while we are figuring out and our DRs are going correctly and whatnot. Even though I get a full polymorph here and I get a nice offensive play out of that momentum, like that defensive momentum where I did have to block, like we still get some CC out. We are still kind of like trying to get everything going again. Seth gets sheeped as well, and we're just trying to get a position where we can get this play right here. We get the double leg sweep into bash on Hansel. He's going to get cloned. We're going to try to kill this Holy Paladin. He gets bopped. I instantly spell steal it with some line of sight problems. Not instantly, but I get the spell steal, which is really nice. And right now, since we are going in, I've got Blessing Protection on me. I'm not going to get stunned. I'm not going to get charged, damaged. It's really good for me because I was able to be offensive in that moment. But something that was really important here is I was actually watching the warrior and watching for his Stormbolt, and then I used my displacement super far away from like right there to like right here. As the Stormbolt was flying in midair, I used displacement. It puts me super far away, and they're not going to be able to connect and do the damage because while I'm stunned, that's when they want to kill me. And as I know that, if I try to negate the effect of the stun by trying to blink around whenever I am getting stunned, that's effective, right? So I am displacement, which means that like as half of the duration of this Stormbolt is over, the warrior is in midair trying to catch up to me. He gets to me right about a quarter of the duration left, 1 second left of that stun he's able to actually use, and he doesn't get a whole lot of damage off. I still have 2 blinks available, which is really nice. I blink once, I temporal shield, and right now I'm just trying to survive. I do unfortunately get interrupted, but it's okay. It's not a huge deal. You do get interrupted every now and then. I do get the full sheep onto the warrior. I sheep again. I get counterspelled, interrupted again. I make a nice clean jump over from the bridge here to the lower ramp in order to kind of kite the warrior a little bit more efficiently. And then we also are displacing super far away and then sheeping the mage, trying to get more CC out, a little bit more defensive positioning since Maylaw is getting CC'd by those polymorphs right there. I get stunned right here. May gets a really awesome clone, and I have a sheep on a Hansel, and there's a stun onto the Holy Paladin, so we're able to disrupt that next Stormbolt, which is even better because that means that we get to continue going, and we are going to be killing this Holy Paladin very, very soon. He does bop again. That's his second bop. He does go to full health with his Divine Favor, and we do decide that we are going to go for Hansel right now, right? So I have my Arcane Power going. I don't have Presence of Mind, which is pretty bad. I don't think that was a good Arcane Power, but it was, you know, just trying to get offensive pressure while I could, you know, before the next Stormbolt comes off. And then I am going to try to do as much damage to Hansel as I can in order to proc that Cauterize. We do not get it. Actually, we go for the and then he actually gets Blessing of Sacrifice for a third time because it came off cooldown because we've taken so long to actually do anything onto the mage again, right? So not only does the Paladin have reduced sacrifice damage because of that, I also displace the stun again. As you can see, the Stormbolt was flying to me. I displace midair, and then I trinket this because this is their damage. Maze and the sheep, and it's not good for me to be sitting that. So I actually do counterspell the next polymorph, and then I did use my trinket there, which is a really big deal. And then we actually finish off the Holy Paladin right here because Seth gets some cooldowns up. He gets a really nice stun onto the Holy Paladin, and then I blink in for the Presence of Mind double Arcane Blast kill, and we end up finishing off this team really solid. So some things to note, guys, just for like actual positioning and explaining how it works, is that you as a player, like this is something that comes with experience, and you as a player, you need to understand when it's their turn to kill you and when it's your turn to kill them. As a mage, that's a lot more of a relevant conversation than like say playing with like a warlock and a death knight, because you're always trying to put out pressure. But as a mage especially, like you need to know when you are weak, and you need to know when your healer is not able to save you, and all of these different things will allow you to influence yourself whenever you're trying to position offensively or defensively, and kind of being out of line of sight of your kill target towards being on top of your kill target trying to finish them off. All those different things are explained to you as you play and as you like start to understand where your weaknesses are. If you die in an arena match, maybe take a couple minutes to actually think about that arena match, think about why you died and where your positioning was within that game, and that'll really help you. But guys, I do hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did want to play Arcane Mage, you did want to check that out a little bit more, go check it out. The guide is officially released for you all. It's over at cartoons.tv. The link is in the description to check out the Arcane Mage guide, and I will see you guys all tomorrow. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I'm going to be doing a lot more arena guides. I think that's been one of my favorite things, and I cannot wait to continue doing that. So thanks guys, and I hope you enjoyed the giveaway and the guide. Thanks.